Alright, so today we're going to do Stones in My Passway by Robert Johnson. Cool thing about this song is when you learn this, you actually learn a couple of other Robert Johnson songs, including Terraplane Blues. So it's kind of a multi-lesson, if you will, because they're essentially the same thing. They're just in maybe slightly different keys. Now I'm going to put a little disclaimer here at the front. I am by no means anywhere close to as good as Robert Johnson, so I'm not trying to be. I am just really trying to play as best as I can, and so this is the way I play it. It might not be exactly like the 32 different recordings that Robert Johnson has, which, by the way, if you've never listened to the complete recordings, you definitely should. But anybody that can play just like Robert Johnson should be, I don't even know how to say, like, they're one of the best guitarists ever if you can play exactly like Robert Johnson. Anyways, so I'm going to get as close as I can to it, and also, this is not exactly the same key that he plays it in, okay? You could use a capo here. I believe it's either in A or B flat. So you could use a capo and just adjust it, but I do it in G. So there's just a couple of disclaimers off the front, but if you learn this, you got a basic outlook. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be, your guitar is going to be tuned to open G. So that would be a D, G, D, G, B, D. Okay, and then you're going to want to slide. Now, I typically put the slide, especially for this song, on my pinky because it is a little difficult if you try to put it on your ring finger to do some of the things you got to do in this song. Okay, so I am going to say, although they're tuned differently, I'm just going to say what they are relative to the string. So if I say low E string, I know it's a D note, but it's still, you know, the low E string. Okay, so it starts off with a walk down. It goes. So what that is your middle finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the D string, and then you're going to pluck that, and then you're going to pluck the G and the B string with your right hand, and then you're going to do the 2nd fret of the D string, pluck it, and then the 1st fret of the D string, pluck it, and then open and pluck the B and the G string. Then, so again, you got, and then you're gonna pinch the A string and then the D and the G and slide those down to the 7th fret with your slide. Now again, with a slide, you want to hit the note right over the metal. So if we look right here, it wants to go right over the metal. You're gonna get that, and you kind of wiggle it a little bit if you'd like, just to get a little bit of an extra sound out of it. Okay, so now we're on to the verses. Now once you get these verses down, it's the same all the way through. I'll do the little breakdown part as well. If you've heard the song, you know what I'm talking about then. And we'll get to that. Okay, so the verses start where he's like, I got stones in my passway. The way I play this is I'm just using on my picking hand, I'm just using my thumb and my pointer finger, and I'm kind of slapping it. It's got like kind of the train beat going. Now, the way that I do this is this chord right here, okay? What that is your pointer finger is going on the 5th fret of the high E, your middle finger is on the 6th fret of the B, and then your ring finger is on the 7th fret of the G. And then you're going to strum, or you're going to play this open A string, which you know is a G note, but you're going to play that, and then you're going to kind of alternate between picking and then raking. Got stones in my passway, and my road seemed dark as night. Alright, so then after you sing that part, you're gonna go. So what that is you're gonna pluck the A string, sorry, and then you're gonna start by using your ring finger on the 5th fret of the high E. So you go 5th fret on the high E, 3rd fret on the high E, all this while you're plucking the A string, back to the 5th fret, 5th fret of the high E, and that's the hardest part. So it's 5th fret, 3rd fret of the high E, 5th fret, 3rd fret alternating, and then you got a hammer on to the 5th fret, and then a pull off to the open E. Oops. Okay? And then you add this part. Okay, so then it is plucking the 3rd fret of the D string along with the G and a B open. And you go 3 on the D, 2 on the D, open. And you just kind of strum it all open. So that together goes. Stones in my passway, and my road seem dark at night. Okay, and then you're ready to go repeat, but then you go to the 4 chord. I got stones in my passway, and my road seem dark at night. Now this is, I think, the hardest part of the song, and even if you listen to when I do it, sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna try, but it's tough. Okay, because if you listen to Robert Johnson, when he's playing that part, he's got this kind of going underneath. But he's keeping the dead palm mute on this part. So what he's doing here, I think, is you're barring the 5th fret from the A all the way down to the high E. Okay, bar all those. All right, and then you're going to use your ring finger to extend this all the way down to the 8th fret of the high E. So what you're doing is you're plucking, keeping it palm muted, and strumming down. But as you're doing that, now you could just do pulling it off and pulling and come back on, so it'd be 8, 5 of the high E. But what he's really doing is he's bending it at the same time, which is really, really difficult. And I still haven't mastered this, but that's what I hear. So it's like. So even that didn't sound good, right? So it's gonna take me some practice to get that, but that's. But that's the part. All right, you could kind of cheat a little bit if you wanted to, and just keep the slide going on the 5th. And it's gonna sound just as, I think it sounds good doing that. But if you really want to get it, that's what that is. All right, so then when you're done with the 4 chord, so stones in my passway, and my road seem dark at night. So then you're going back to the thing we just learned. And then for the 5 chord, you are just gonna, pains in my heart now, baby. So you slide down to the 7th fret, and you're gonna pluck the A string, B, and G. Pains in my heart now, baby. And then do that again on the 5th fret. Please my appetite. And then an open A, and then do your. So there's not really a turnaround in this song. At those parts, you don't go back to this like you would in normal blues. But then you're ready to start it, okay? So that's all of that. Now, the only other part in this song is when he does this little kind of breakdown. You're taking my life and all my loving too. And it's actually the easiest part of the song. So finally, we get a little bit of reprieve here. Pretty easy part of this song. Okay, so what this is you go A string. So it's A string open, and then you pluck the 3rd with your thumb and the 4th fret of the A string, and then open on the D and the G. Taking my life, and then what you do is after you do that one time, you just keep this droning going on the A string. The way you do a droning with like Robert Johnson is use the fat of your palm. You kind of mute those strings, and you just keep plucking in time with the bass note. In this case, it's the A string. You're taking my life and all my loving too. You lay the past before me. Now what am I trying to do? And then it's right back to, and it's back in the regular time. And then you're back to the song. So that is, again, Stones in My Passway by Robert Johnson. Highly recommend listening to the song over and over again to kind of get the nuances that he's doing there. Again, as you saw at the beginning, my disclaimer, I am not Robert Johnson, nor am I anywhere close to Robert Johnson. I just really, really like his music. And so I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything that wasn't clear, anything that I messed up on, anything that I could fix or clarify. Let me know in the comments. and we'll try again next week.